sun.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning. It is Saturday, which means it's AA Day. I'm Sandra. I'm a recovering alcoholic. And just want to say some of the rules. Please do not do any judgment in here. It is a meeting. Be kind to each other and read along if you have a book. If you don't, that's okay because I'm going to read it anyway. So, let's give it a couple minutes for people to come in and then we will get started. I am also live on Facebook. Some people ask why I do this. I just simply say, I was given this gift for free and I'm giving it for free. And that is sobriety and help becoming sober and staying sober as the dog chews his tire. He's noisy. Sorry, y'all. So my sister is up here at my place today. Woohoo! So you might hear her in the background. Hello, Ava. Thank you for sharing me out. I appreciate you. If you haven't checked out Ava Potterfield and Friends, please do. She is a beautiful and kind person, and she is very talented with music. Her and her husband play live music on Thursday nights on Doug and Ava's place, and again on Friday night on Ava Potterfield and Friends on YouTube. And Copper, please stop chewing that. Hey, quit eating it. My sister got him a tire to play with. Of course, it didn't last 24 hours, and he's already gotten it torn apart. Some of it, not all of it. And Pippi is up here as well. So if my phone, which is where I'm doing on Facebook, if my phone goes flat, that is one of the dogs knocked it over. So let's go ahead and get this slow connection on my phone. I don't know why. Anyways, let's get this going. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So we are in the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions book. You can find the page we're on and the description, well, kind of a description of what step or what story we're reading down below the video. So if you're watching the replay, you can find it there. For the day, I also have been putting AA meetings into its own playlist so it's easier to find. It is under AA. So, step one, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. No! Told you Pippi was going to knock it over. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. For some reason, Facebook side is going slow. It keeps saying it's slow. Maybe too many devices in one area. I don't know. Did I say 4? Did you hear me say 4, hon? Okay. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God and to ourselves and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and and when we were wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. We are on step 8, page 77. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. Step 8 and 9 are concerned with personal relations. First, we take a look backward and try to discover where we have been at fault. Next, we make a vigorous attempt to repair the damage we have done. And third, having thus cleaned away the debris of the past, we consider how, with our newfound knowledge of ourselves, we may develop the best possible relations with every human being we know. This is a very large order. It is a task which we may perform with increasing skill, but never really finish. Learning how to live in the greatest peace, partnership, and brotherhood with all men and women of whatever description is a moving and fascinating adventure. Every AA has found that he can make little headway in this new adventure of living until he first backtracks and really makes an accurate and unsparing survey of the human wreckage he has left in his wake. To a degree, he has already done this when taking moral inventory, but now the time has come when he ought to redouble his efforts to see how many people he has hurt and in what ways. This reopening of emotional wounds, some old, some perhaps forgotten, and some still painfully festering, will at first look like a purposeless and pointless piece of surgery. But if a willing start is made, then the great advantages of doing this will so quickly reveal themselves that the pain will be lessened as one obstacle after another melts away. These obstacles, however, are very real. The first and one of the most difficult has to do with forgiveness. The moment we ponder a twisted or broken relationship with another person, our emotions go on the defense. To escape looking at the wrongs we have done another. We resentfully focus on the wrong he has done us. This is especially true if he has in fact behaved badly at all. Triumphantly, we seize upon his misbehavior, as the perfect excuse for minimizing or forgetting our own. Right here, we need to fetch ourselves up sharply, and it doesn't make much sense when a real tosspot calls a kettle black. Let's remember that alcoholics are not the only ones believed or bedevilled by sick emotions. Moreover, it is usually a fact that our behavior when drinking has aggravated the defects of others. We've repeatedly strained the patience of our best friends to a snapping point and have brought out the very worst in those who didn't think much of us to begin with. In many instances, we are really dealing with fellow sufferers. Thank you. Over on Facebook. If we are now about to ask forgiveness for ourselves, why shouldn't we start out by forgiving them one and all? When listening, the people we have harmed, most or listing, sorry, the people we have harmed, most of us hit another solid obstacle. We got a pretty severe shock when we realized that we were preparing to make a face-to-face admission of our wretched conduct to those we had hurt. It had been embarrassing enough when in confidence we had admitted these things to God, to ourselves, and to another human being. But the prospect of actually visiting or even writing the people concerned now overwhelmed us, especially when we remembered in what poor favor we stood with most of them. There were cases, too, where we had damaged others who were still happily unaware of being hurt. Why we cried shouldn't bygones be bygones. Why do we have to think of these people at all? These were some of the ways in which fear conspired with pride to hinder our making a list of all people we had harmed. It's okay, I understand, Will. Perfectly fine. Some of us thought, though, tripped over a very different snag. We clung to the claim that when drinking, we never hurt anybody but ourselves. Our family didn't suffer because we always paid the bills and seldom drank at home. Our business associates didn't suffer because we were usually on the job, or our reputation hadn't suffered because we were certain few knew of our drinking. Those who did would sometimes assure us that, after all, a lively bender was only a good man's fault. What real harm, therefore, had we done? No more surely than we could easily mend with a few casual apologies. This attitude, of course, is the end result of purposeful forgetting. It is an attitude which can only be changed by a deep and honest search of our motives and actions. Though in some cases we cannot make restitution at all, and in some cases action ought to be deferred, we should nevertheless make an accurate and really exhaustive survey of our past life as it has affected other people. In many instances, we shall find that though the harm done others has not been great, the emotional harm we have done of ourselves has, very deep, sometimes quite forgotten, damaging emotional conflicts persist below the level of consciousness. At the time of these occurrences, they may actually have given our emotions violent twists which have since discolored our personalities. Will you stop eating that tire copper? He's swallowing that.
You want me to do about it?
You are a crazy dog.
Come here. Lay down.
And altered.
Lay down.
I'm trying to make sure he doesn't knock everything over. Hopefully everybody on Facebook can hear me. Okay. Where was I? At the time of these occurrences, they may actually have given our emotions violent twists, which have since discolored our personalities and altered our lives for the worse. While the purpose of making restitution to others is paramount, it is equally necessary that we extricate from an examination of our personal relations every bit of information about ourselves and our fundamental difficulties that we can. Since defective relations with other human beings have nearly always been the immediate case or cause of our woes, including our alcoholism, no field of investigation could yield more satisfying and valuable rewards than this one. Calm, thoughtful reflection upon personal relations can deepen our insight. We can go far beyond those things which were superficially wrong with us to see those flaws which were basic flaws, which sometimes were responsible for the whole pattern of our lives. Thoroughness, we have found, will pay, and pay handsomely. We might next ask ourselves what we mean when we say that we have harmed other people. What kinds of harm do people do one another anyway? To define the word harm in a particular way, we might call it the result of instinct in collision, which cause physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual damage to people. If our tempers are constantly bad, we arouse anger in others. If we lie or cheat, we deprive ourselves not only of their worldly goods, but of their emotional security and peace of mind. We really issue them an invitation to become contemptuous and vengeful. If our sex conduct is selfish, we may excite jealousy, misery, and a strong desire to retaliate in kind. Such gross misbehavior is not by any means a full catalog of the harms we do. Let us think of some of the subtler ones which can sometimes be quite as damaging. Suppose that in our family lives we happen to be miserably irresponsible, callous, and or cold. Suppose that we are irritable, crucial, impatient, and humorless. Suppose we lavish attention upon one member of the family and neglect the others. What happens when we try to dominate the whole family, either by a rule of iron or by a constant outpouring of minute directions for just how their lives should be lived from hour to hour? What happens when we wallow in depression, self pity oozing from every pore, and inflict that upon those about us? Such a roster of harms done others, the kind that make daily living with us a practicing alcoholic difficult and often unbearable, could be extended almost immediately or indefinitely. When we take such personal traits as these into shop office and the society of our fellows, they can do damage almost as extensive as that we have caused at home. Having carefully surveyed this whole area of human relations and having decided exactly what personality traits in us injured and disturbed others, we can now commence to ransack memories from the people to whom we have given offense. To put a finger on nearby and most deeply damaged ones shouldn't be hard to do. Then, as year by year we walk back through our lives, as far as memory will reach, we shall be bound to construct a long list of people who have, to some extent or other, been affected. We should, of course, ponder and weigh each instance carefully. We shall want to hold ourselves to courts of admitting things we have done, meanwhile forgiving the wrongs done us, real or fancied. We should avoid extreme judgment, both of ourselves and of others involved. We must not exaggerate our defects or theirs. A quiet, objective view will be our steadfast aim. Whenever our pencil falters, we can fortify and cheer ourselves by remembering that AA experience is this step has meant to others. It is the beginning of the end of isolation from our fellows and from God. So this one is very true because you really don't know what you've done in that time that you have been the practicing drinking uh daily and all of that. You don't know what harm you're doing to others, um especially in that time, because when we're drinking all we care about is the drinking. I know I hit rock bottom more than once. I'll tell you that because the first time I went and I stopped drinking, I hadn't started AA, so I still had all of that built up stuff. And I thought, okay, everybody knows I'm sober, which is great. And that was good enough. Well, I also then went back out and I drank. So I started the act again. So I had to, and I still do every day, apologize for things that I have done, things that I've said, even though some of them I don't remember. Hence the eyeball thing with my twin sister. I said she did it and she didn't. And I don't remember saying that. So there are things that we did while we were drinking to others that was not nice at all. Now, my husband took off the day I hurt my eye. And that day, I really didn't care what was going on because I was drunk. Who cares, right? I almost lost my family for that one. Um, I'm very thankful that I was able to get sober and stay sober and go to AA and learn the steps and work the steps and take every daily thing with doing my steps, because if I don't, I could end up being that person that I was at that time. And I do not miss who I was because I can admit I was mean. I cried a lot. I was not feeling the actual feelings. So, oh, do you want to come up? Okay.
Lillian says that she's in your basement.
I know. She's in my basement. My sister's in my basement over here on the YouTube side, so I'm going to go ahead and bring her up. Hey, there you
Hi.
are. I didn't notice the private message until just now. So,
Well, I put it in the comments on the YouTube side, but you didn't see it till
yeah,
now.
yeah, I didn't see it.
I had to
So,
come home so I could come up because it kept it
oh,
wouldn't mute my volume.
okay.
So and Pippi was making too much noise, so I just came
Oh,
home to give you quiet time to read.
yeah. So we are really neighbors, you guys. Again, I live upstairs. She lives downstairs, so we're diagonally from each other. Again, but in the way I got sober was this time. I've been sober for 9 years. The way I got sober was we moved away from everyone. And yes, I did drink for a while we were gone, but I quit November 15th, 2024, or not 2024, 2014. And I had to leave my sister, my best friend, because what we were doing was we were keeping each other on the alcohol. You know, if I didn't have any, I'd get some from her, or vice versa. And it was good because we did fight constantly over the alcohol. That's being physical, that is all of it. And so our relationship now, because we are sober and we've learned through AA what we need to do to make it past those issues. Like, we still have our fights, we still argue, we don't hit each other though. And we go our own separate ways because we do have our own space to be able to go to. But also, we also make our amends not very long after. And so we have made our relationship excellent. I still do get my attitude with people, but then I'm like, well, crap. Now I gotta say sorry for that one. But I do that. I've had to apologize to my son the other day. Uh, he said he stopped by Valentine's Day, got me a dozen pink roses, and we got into an argument. And he went home, and then the next day, he says, "I'm not stopping by today. I'm not feeling good." And I said, "You sure you weren't just mad at me? You're not just mad at me because we got in that argument last night?" He's like, "No, I'm really not feeling good." So that made me feel better because he also knew that I was sorry for my part in the argument, but it's all a subject that both of us are like crazy about. So, anyways, so what are you up to, sis?
Not much. Just since it's the AA meeting, I'll say that I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, and it is great to be sober totally from everything besides my prescriptions that I have to take. And it is a struggle every day, but you can get through it. Don't give up on your goals, no matter what it is in life. I don't care if you drink occasionally or, do whatever you feel like doing. But
Let me see you.
it's,
All they see is a basket.
just be assured that recovery is a good thing. And it's worth it. So, 8 years going on 9, I can't believe I have almost not, well, still got a while. It's not there yet.
Yep.
So I
You
don't
can't say we're going to.
I don't count my chickens before they hatch.
Right.
And I always try to keep my ducks in a row. In my
I got
row.
a row of ducks. I have a row of ducks.
I have a bag of ducks in my Jeep. But anyways, sobriety, I can say, is honestly one of the best things in my life, because if I didn't have my sobriety, I would not be where I am or
Yeah.
how I'm doing today.
Yeah.
I have bad days, I have good days, just like everybody else. But I know how to better deal with them.
Yeah.
And like life is like the ocean, it ebbs and flows.
Mhm.
So that's just how I live my life.
Mhm.
And like you, I do try to make amends whenever I feel guilty about something I have said or done. Um, because I know if I feel guilty, then it must have been, because sometimes you forget how you make other people feel, even though you're in recovery. It still happens. So I do try to make my amends right off. Uh, and that's just the facts of my life.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
for my well being. It's not for everybody else. It's for my well being.
Yeah.
You know.
So you'll
So
admit. So with Lily, what happened is I started AA and I started nagging her. And then my sponsor told me to read this one page. I can't remember what page it is, but she does. She said to read this. And when I finally got to that point of reading what she said I needed to read, I realized, oh, I need to stop telling her or begging her. Because when you do that, it makes them like, time out, no way, I'm done with you, you know? And so when she finally did come, she came and I was on cloud nine because my sister had come to AA. And even though it was her first one, I was still excited. She did go home and she did have her drink
Yes, I
or
did.
a few. But then the next morning she felt like crap. So she's been
Well,
sober ever since.
not only that, not only did I feel like crap, but I think that going to the meeting, my first meeting, truly I admitted to myself that I'm an alcoholic.
Yep.
And something somebody said in the meeting or something we read uh, got to me.
Yeah.
First meeting,
Yeah.
which I can't believe. Still to this day, I can't believe
Yeah.
that it was the first meeting. It didn't take me long to figure out that this was the life I needed.
Yeah.
But
We're just talking about how AA has helped us, and my sister's talking, and I've got earbuds in, so Facebook can't hear her, but I'm listening to her. So don't think I'm ignoring you guys. I'm gonna tell you about her story here in a second, if that's all right with her.
that's fine. But I know for me, it was the first meeting. Something somebody said sat with me, and I thought about it, and I drank that night. So that did not count as my 24 hours.
Nope.
But I was sober when I went to my first meeting.
Yeah.
24 hours. Then I came home and drank. There was 3 beers still in the fridge. I remember to this day. It took
So
me 4 or 5 times opening and closing the refrigerator and telling myself, no, I don't need that. I don't
right.
need to drink those.
Yep. Yep.
And so that started my journey.
Yeah. So she had 3 beers in the refrigerator, and she had drank the night before, and she kept looking at those 3 beers in the refrigerator and told herself, no, I don't have to drink that. And that's what we need, is we need to have that initial thing. Once you admit you're an alcoholic, then for some people it just snaps like, oh no, I need to go tell someone, ask for help, and that's my friend asked me to go, and I went. And so I got sober before I went to AA. And I'm so glad that I found the group, the fellowship, and the group we went to. And I have a sponsor. She's been my sponsor since I started AA. My second sponsor passed away back in December. But it's life, and being able to deal with that on a sober note has been well worth it, because she would be mad if I went back out, plain and simple. So, because I would hold her accountable and she'd hold me accountable, and she was always proud that I had found my voice, and she'd always make sure to know that use your voice. And so that was part of the reason why I started doing this is because I want to use my voice to encourage others to get the help, to know that there are others and you're not alone. There are a lot of people just like you um, that struggle with it too. And some of us are lucky enough to get out of it. And we have family members that still drink and they are alcoholic. And, you know, all we can do is pray for them to find it. And, you know, it's God's wills and not our own.
Yep.
So,
Amen to that. It's your higher power's will,
yeah.
not your own.
Yep.
I don't care, you know, it does help. Does help. Just having people to talk to about it helps, you know.
Yeah. Yep. It does for sure.
But anyways, I'm gonna step down.
All right. I'm going to get ready to do the serenity prayer and then read the daily reflection. And
Hi, Facebook.
so she says, hi, Facebook. I showed them that you're on panel with me. So
Okay.
thank you for coming up.
Yep. Love you.
Love you. Anyways, so that's going to be our meeting. I'm really glad that she came up and shared some of her story with us. She does not have Facebook. So, anyways, I'm going to say the serenity prayer and do the daily reflection, and I will share it on my Facebook wall if you want to read it. There's always great reading there. So, I love you guys. And you guys can make it. Yeah, and you're very much worth it. Very much, even though you don't feel like you are. You truly are. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Alrighty. Let's go get the daily reflection. February 17th, the love in their eyes. Some of us won't believe in God, others can't, and still others who do believe that God exists have no faith. Whatever He will perform is a miracle. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 25. It was the changes I saw in the new people who came into the fellowship that helped me lose my fear and change my negative attitude to a positive one. I could see the love in their eyes, and I was impressed by how much their one day at a time sobriety meant to them. They had looked squarely at step 2 and came to believe that a power greater than themselves could restore them to sanity. That gave me faith in the fellowship and hope that it would work for me too. I found that God was a loving God, not to punish God I feared before coming to AA. I also found that He had been with me during all those times I had been in trouble before I came to AA. I know today that He was the one who led me to AA and that I am a miracle. And with that, perfectly said. I love you all and have a great day. Stay safe, stay sober, be kind, and love your family and friends.